You're listening to the Icandemy podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Do you ever think to yourself, I want to be able to impact lives, leave an imprint in this world, but you feel isolated, stuck, unclear on how to show up or get started? If you've answered yes to this question, I want to extend a very special invitation to you to join us on our upcoming workshop, the Courageous Confidence Workshop. This workshop is live, where we get to work together on that call so that you can crack the confidence code, awaken your inner giant, show up authentically, and attract your tribe. Head on over to offers.icandemy.org/courageous. Again, it's offers.icandemy.org/courageous. You'll find the links in the show notes below. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Icandemy podcast. I hope you're doing well. I hope your year is going well. I hope you are doing okay. I hope you're beginning to put those plans, those New Year resolutions that you set at the start of the year into action. On today's episode, we're going to be continuing our new series all about unlocking miracles in our lives. Now, this series is one of my favorite things to talk about, one of my favorite things to teach, and you'll know why as we journey along this series together. On the last episode, we talked about the concept of miracles, whereby I shared with you different definitions about what miracles are. I shared with you the dictionary definition of a miracle, which defines a miracle as a fortunate outcome that prevails despite overwhelming odds against it, as something that is brought about by divine power for a divine purpose. Yeah. And I also shared with you my personal definition of a miracle. And I defined a miracle as an everyday occurrence for those who realize and believe that anything and everything is possible. And this comes from Mark 9:23 in the Bible, because Jesus himself said, if you can, said Jesus, everything is possible for the one who believes. So you, my friend, are a miracle. Your existence every day, the mere fact that you're here is an occurrence, is an everyday occurrence, right? Because you believe that anything is possible. On today's episode, though, I'm going to be sharing with you why miracles are possible and significant. I'm going to be giving you my perspective on how I've come to understand why miracles are possible and significant. A lot of people do not believe in miracles because miracles is something that they do not have control over. So they do not even want to consider the fact that miracles exist. Yeah? But I'm going to be sharing with you today why miracles are possible, why they exist, and why they are significant in our lives. So let's get straight into it. Now, I'm going to share with you what I call principles. Miracles, the first reason why miracles are possible is because there are something called principles. Now, what are principles? Principles are fundamental truths or propositions that serve as the foundation for a system, belief, or behavior, right? Principles are fundamental truths or proposition that serves as the foundation for a chain of reasoning. It's a truth that supports or underpins the reason why we believe a thing, the reason why a system operates the way it does, right? Principles represent an objective reality that transcends cultures and individuals. Yeah. Principles are universal truths that are based on natural laws. Example, the law of gravity. What goes up must come down. The law of entropy, which means anything left to itself will eventually descend into entropy. Yeah. So those laws are natural laws, and principles are universal truths that are based on those natural laws. While our values govern our behaviors, yeah, principles govern the consequences of those behaviors. That is why we can choose our actions, but we do not get to choose the consequences of those actions. Why? Principles govern the consequences of those actions. Yeah. Be it good or bad. Yeah. So you can decide to wake up early, eat right, exercise, work out, look after yourself spiritually, physically, mentally. And principles will ensure that those actions you have decided to take have results. Yeah. Or we can decide, you know what, I don't care about all this. I'm just going to eat junk, sleep in all day, sit down, watch Netflix and chill, do all of these things, just leave myself open. No problem either. Principles will always govern the consequence of those actions and behaviors that we decide to have. Okay, family, let's face it, we've all felt pain. We've suffered the losses. You know what it's like to want something so bad, but not see a path to its accomplishment. The question, however, is, do you know how to pick yourself up and move on despite what has happened? This is what I share with you inside of my new book, Good Medicine for the Crushed Spirit, a practical guide to helping you find purpose when adversity strikes. Inside this book, you will find personal stories, relatable biblical tales, and anecdotes that prove you are never alone in your despair. I will inspire you to turn pain, discomfort, disappointment, or setbacks into something positive that works for you. So if you're ready to change your life in meaningful and purposeful ways, get your copy of this book today and let the transformation begin. Now, principles is one of the things that God showed us in the Bible. In Genesis 8:22, the Lord said, as long as the earth endures, seed, time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. Those are principles. It means it is guaranteed, right? That as long as this earth remains, cold will be a thing, heat will be a thing, summer will be a thing, winter will be a thing. There will be day and there will be night, and it will never cease as long as the earth endures. This is something for you to be excited about right there. It means whatever you're going through right now, if you find yourself in a cold season of life, fret not, my friend, because the heat is coming, right? There's comfort coming along the way. If you're in a summer period of your life right now, make sure you plan for the winter days because it will not always be summer. If you're in the daytime of your life, make sure you plan for the nighttime of your life when you no longer have the strength to work when it's day right now, because as long as the earth remains, these things, these principles will always make sure that these cycles and seasons exist. Now, there are other principles that govern our earth and our life. Stay with me. This is all trying to help us understand why miracles are possible and why they are significant. Yeah? Miracles are possible because of something called principles. The earth we live in, or live on rather, and the life we live are all governed by principle. What is the first principle that governs the earth? It means it is the vital order. What does the vital order mean? The vital order means only life can create life. The vital order means that only a living thing can create another living thing. And this is so because organisms are highly ordered structures alive. Yeah? And if this vital order is lost, life cannot be created. It means a dead thing cannot give birth to a living thing. That sums it up. The vital order basically means, in simple English, a dead thing cannot give birth to life, right? Only living things can give birth to living things. That is why Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. Because a dead thing cannot give birth to a living thing. That is a principle of life. Another principle of the earth is the inexorability principle. What does inexorability mean? It means something that is impossible to stop, alter, or resist. It is inevitable. Now, this principle means that no matter what, life will inevitably evolve and progress with or without us. It is a principle of life. It is the way God has designed life. That's why you see that a flower or a tree can shed its leaf and literally shed everything, right? In autumn and in winter, and then you see that in summer it starts to blossom again. It starts to have those leaves into it again. It means no matter what, life goes on. Life must continue. And then we have the principle of time. What does that mean? Time determines life, right? But life cannot change time, because time is usually not made up of or dependent on anything else. Yeah? Time is so important that almost every vital process has its own time. And we all, as living organisms, indicate an awareness of time. Now, if you look around us, we'll see that every living thing is perishable. Whatever lives has the potential to die, right? And what happens in between the start of life and the end of life? It is something called the passage of time. The passage of time leads to our demise. We are born, we grow, we age, we die. It's a continuous cycle that happens in a time sequence, right? Sometimes established with great precision, and there is nothing we can do against the passage of time. Time will pass anyway, right? This is a principle that time will pass anyway. So this other principle that I want to share with you is the last principle that makes miracles significant. Now, what is this principle? Evolution, the evolutionary principle. Evolution is inherent in life, right? It is imperative that we evolve. We have to evolve, right? Because if we don't evolve, it will eventually disappear, right? Evolution is necessary for us to overcome our environmental and biological changes that occur in nature. Evolution is life, and life is evolution. These principles is what makes miracles significant and possible. Now, stay with me. On the next episode, I'll tie it all up for us, right? How these principles then give way to the significance of miracles. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and until the next one, keep on shining. This episode is sponsored by our very own Mogul Mindset Training. Are you ready to embrace new experiences, see opportunities where you thought there was none, and totally surprise yourself? Because you can by unleashing the power of your mind. Mogul Mindset System is a 5-step system that helps you retrain your mind to work with you and not against you, so you can awaken your inner giant, 10x your impact, your income, and become truly unstoppable. The truth is, you, my friend, have a superpower, your creative genius, and I'm here to make that power multiply manyfold so you can get past fear, self-doubt, and finally start working and thriving in your life and business. Ready to unleash your superpowers? I thought you would. Head over to mogul.icandemy.org. That's mogul.icandemy.org to learn more. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at Icandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at Icandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wallaby. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org.